What's up YouTube? Capital G here. New Print Kids action for you guys to check out. This archetype is only receiving a single new card in Phantom Rage, but that is all it takes to move the needle with this deck, because seriously, it is so much more consistent than before, especially when Instant Fusion did go to 1. Basically, now any Print Kids main deck monster is like a combo starter, because you can instantly go into a Link 1. You no longer need the Fusion summon to get your plays online, and the deck is just a lot more powerful and consistent. Also, you got the board wipes that you can do twice in a turn, which I've seen a bunch of duels. I have not seen a player lose when resolving the effect of those big monsters twice in a turn. It's basically like you got to be playing some deck that's like immune to monster effects or immune to like destruction or something like that. Anyways, first duel is going to be against them Invokers, and he should be able to get a turn 1 Mechaba, because, you know, Mechaba is basically, if you just open with Alistair, you got your Mechaba, and you're going to have at least a monster negation by pitching to Alistair. Print Kids going second. Effect Veiler obviously would have been a better draw. Now, this is something that I have seen. A lot of these Print Kid players are they're playing Fright for Patchwork, and they're playing some of the edge up cards, and then obviously like they always want to run Polymerization. So, you know, Fright for Patchwork, nice +1 in the deck. It is going to be hit with Ash Blossom, but he's going to use Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave will be negated by Mechaba, so he will not get that Surge. However, he has a 1-card combo. See, all you got to do is just open with a single Print Kid monster and you got your combo. Now, he is going to lose out to Called by the Grave, but that's fine. He has the Instant Fusion, so he does have the Extender. So, you know, luckily he did have that play, and this means that he should be able to get some places. He gets Print Kid's place, which of course is the same as opening with any of your Print Kids monsters. He can go for your Rocket, which means he can activate that effect. He can actually just attack into the Mechaba, but it looks like he doesn't want to go for that. Gonna summon a couple of Print Kids monsters. I still love the fact that Print Kids, you know, they have the level 2 Aqua monster, and they can go for totally awesome. A nice way of having some negation in an archetype that really doesn't have any negation. His opponent is going to use Alistair to basically just trade, but it's perfectly fine. He's still kind of in the driver's seat at this point. I think he's going to summon 2 monsters, and he might go for the Red Eyes Dart Dragoon play here. I think that that's going to be the play. He is going to use some of those effects during his opponent's turn. Here comes Red Eyes Dart Dragoon. Problem is, Dragoon's good, but not when you don't have multiple cards, or if you don't have a card in hand. By the way, the Bow Wow was actually immune to card destruction, so the Dart Dragoon could not pop it. And Dart Dragoon, while it is a powerful card, the Print Kids deck can beat over it if it's only going to be 3,000 attack, because, you know, they got plays, they can gain attack, you can use, well, I mean, it's not even just that, but usually they can go for Boris Ward Dragon. I know the extra deck is getting more tight in Print Kids, like it seems like you gotta keep adding cards, but Boris Ward Dragon is something that they're not going to drop from the deck, because it gives them the ability to go for them OTKs, and you guys are seeing it right there. Anyway, so that's a first duel down. Second duel is going to be against the Orcas deck. Okay, people out here playing Orcas. I don't know if you want to open with evenly matched when you're going first, but it looks like he still opened well enough. I'm not sure if he'll be able to play around this Joker right here. Nibiru's still such a powerful card. Depends if your opponent has like extenders, and we know that a Nibiru plus an evenly matched, like, those are not extenders. Those are just straight up go second cards. So I feel like the Nibiru will find its mark in this first turn. Wait for your opponent to go for, you know, a play where they're kind of locked, and then bam, hit them with the Nibiru, give them the token. The Nibiru in attack mode. Okay, maybe he's thinking I'm gonna Boris Ward OTK this guy out of the water. He's gonna go, of course, for the Meow Meow, which, I mean, you basically are going to summon that card every single turn 1 if possible. Like, I have yet to see a Print Kids player not go for that card. Now, joke's on him. He's actually going to get Nibiru, but once again, instant. This guy's lucky, dude. He's always opening with Instant Fusion. I guess it didn't matter because he had Poly and 2 Print Kids in his hand, so he would have been able to continue summoning anyways. So yeah, I guess that that didn't really matter all that much. He also has the ever so important Called by the Grave for the Degirsu in the graveyard, because he's going for Boris Ward. Then Girsu obviously is an excellent card with when it comes to dealing with Boris Ward Dragon. But yeah, if your opponent tries to summon it, all you gotta do is hit him with that Call by the Grave, and that's pretty much going to be a wrap. Attack into the Nibiru, use the Boris Ward effect. Then that's 2 quick Boris Ward, pretty much just like wrecking the game. Anyways, this duel is going to show off the removal power and why it's so important. Why that other effect of Meow Meow is actually just so important. So, you know, Meow Meow hits the graveyard, and if your opponent is playing like a combo based deck where they just have to have a lot of monsters on field, that's when the battling boxer, that's when the butler comes out to play, and the butler just basically drop kicks them into oblivion. I mean, the card is just really good if your opponent doesn't have any type of protection from removal, and it's good against even the decks like Salamangreats. By the way, I love the Pot of Avarice. This deck can use Pot of Avarice so well. I know before, Prank Kids players used to have to play Desires. I think Avarice is probably, yeah, you can't use it as your first play going first, but you know, it's a card that doesn't banish your deck. It doesn't really mess up your consistency for the following turns. And I mean, we see this deck just load its graveyard up like crazy. But anyways, the Battling Butler, if your opponent's even playing a deck like Salamangreats and they have the Balinks, that's why you get to nuke them twice, and you know, you can't Balinks your opponent 2 times in a turn. So you see him summoning all these rockets and dragons, and that's when you've overextended, bro. So you're gonna probably get hit with that Battling Butler, and we know that the fusion spell for Prank Kids does allow them to fusion during either player's turn because it is a quick play. So yeah, go for the Butler, activate the effect, you use Meow Meow, you don't even have to give up the Butler. Bam, get them cards off of the field, bro. And it's nice because now you still have the Butler on field to attack, and you just know your opponent. Like, you know, you basically have game set up for the next turn. Like, if your opponent doesn't, if they don't have a way of getting more monsters on board, and after, you know, extending 5 cards on field, why would you? The chances of them living after that are just, they're almost 0, because Butler is going to be like 3,000 attack. You're going to have other Prank Kids monsters. You might even summon some more from the deck during that. Final duel is going to be against the Sky Stryker deck, and my goodness, this boy opened up with every hand trap you could think of in Sky Stryker, but not a lot of action when it comes to him playing. I don't know about the effect veiler there on the Meow Meow. I don't really know what that does. I feel like that might be a misplay, Areno, and it probably will come back to haunt him. Now, he is going to continue on. This is a card I would want to hit Doodle-Doo because that gets you Prank Kids Place, and that just gets you a search. He already has it, but obviously Prank Kids have lots of good spells and traps, so like, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with you using Effect Veiler on Doodle-Doo. He's also going to go for that Totally Awesome, just have even more ways of stopping his opponent. His top deck's going to be Nibiru. Now, the interesting thing about Nibiru is you can actually Nibiru Prank Kids during your own turn. Like, they summon a lot during both turns. So Nibiru is never really a dead card against them, whether it's your turn or your opponent's turn. You see right there, he's going to activate the Bow Wow Bark. He is going to fusion summon. He's going to link summon during his opponent's turn as well. And when you do that, each of these, you know, Prank Kids monsters summons other Prank Kids monsters. So it's quite easy to Nibiru them during their turn. Now, I wouldn't recommend using Nibiru if your opponent has freaking Totally Awesome face up on the field. That doesn't make a lot of sense unless you have Called by the Grave to stop it. But yeah, that was a little silly doing that. He's gonna go for that Rippin' Roaring Rooster. That means he gets to nuke his opponent's field. Just like in the previous game, he still keeps the Ripping Roaring Rooster, and that means that yeah, it's gonna be a GG nobody because he already has half of game already on board. His opponent has 6,000 life points. The Rooster attacks for 3,000, and I'm pretty sure with these 4 cards plus a draw, he can, well, yeah, he's drawing a Poly. Well, he's drawing Patchwork, which gets him a Poly and another Edgem Sabers. He can find a way to get the game. Anyways, let's check out what the deck looks like on paper. I think this deck's going to be a contender. Depending, well, you know, obviously, this is going to be in the last core booster set of the year, and that will be around what, like November. So we're still 4 months away from there. We got a ban list. We got to see where things are going to be at. But you know, assuming we get rid of the Numeron nonsense, hopefully, I feel like this deck is going to be incredibly legit because it feels to me not maybe as maybe as like trap heavy or quite as negation heavy, but to me prank kids feel very similar to how Salamangreats used to be. Like Salamangreats, the thing that I loved about the deck was it took so little gas to get rolling. I mean, Gazelle was like a +3 whole combo, and you know, a lot of other monsters could get to Gazelle, which is why they had to have so many cards hit. Now it's starting to feel like prank kids are like that. It feels like basically any of these cards are just like massive good opening plays, and then you also have +1s like Patchwork. You have other power plays like Instant Fusion. It's a limited card, so don't rely on it too much, but you also have some recovery. You also have Avarice. You can run a little bit of hand traps in your deck if you're happen to go if you're going second, which this actually fuels the Avarice in. Plus the deck has like crazy potent offense. I would say Nibiru is probably the biggest threat to prank kids, because we saw in that duel when he got Nibiru'd, he needed the perfect extenders to basically like recover Instant Fusion, or to have a couple of prank kids plus a poly. If he didn't have that, he wouldn't have had much gas. But to me, I think this is a very legitimate deck. Like I'm feeling top 5 out of this deck, like top 5 decks of the format. Anyways, whatever you guys think, leave it in the comment section below. If you guys are interested in the build, of course, it will be in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.